Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the House. I rise today to read to you some letters that I have received. These letters come from a family that I know very well, and I want to share their experience with you here. Good afternoon. My name is Karen Butler, and I am the mother of a child who identifies as queer non-binary. My child was assigned female at birth, and late last year, at the age of 16, they received gender-affirming top surgery. You need to understand that our journey to that day of surgery was not a rash or impulsive one. It was weeks that turned into months that turned into years of extensive conversations with our child and hearing their experience and understanding their distress. It involved multiple consultations with primary and specialty physicians, as well as mental health professionals. In the end, my husband and I made what we believed to be the best choice for our child. With the onset of puberty, my child realized that their developing body had begun to betray them. Despite wishing for years, literally as far back as they can remember, that maybe, somehow, their body would fail to develop breasts. Instead, as their body inevitably did develop, they were racked with the torment of feeling trapped inside a body that was not really theirs. They began to withdraw, physically and emotionally. They experienced severe gender dysphoria and all the emotions that come with that. They suffered from depression and anxiety and disordered eating because of the harsh disconnect between who they knew they were and how they felt in their body. In response, we did what any loving parent would do. We sought professional help. We read volumes. We had a huge learning curve. I understand that the immensity of a procedure like gender-affirming top surgery is difficult for many people to understand. And I assure you, this was not something we went into lightly. We talked to the professionals who follow the peer-reviewed science and evidence-based best practices that have been adopted around the globe. We talked to our child, we listened to our child, and we trusted our child. Ultimately, we knew it was the right thing to do for our child, and in the end, it was our sacred and legal duty as parents to make that decision, and we made that choice. Earlier this year, the legislature argued that parents should be the ones to decide what is best for their children. Why does this same rationale for parental rights not apply here? Why do you want to strip me of my liberty and my freedom as a parent? How is this legislature in a better position than I to make healthcare decisions for my child? You are not. You do not know my child. You did not hold my child when they were sick with pneumonia on their first birthday. You did not drive them to the hospital when they had appendicitis and needed surgery. You were not there to beg them to keep living and promise them that things would get better. My husband and I were, and we are in the best position to help make informed decisions about our child's health and well-being in consultation with their healthcare professionals. I want you to understand that the gender-affirming surgery my child received was medically necessary, potentially life-saving care. You also need to know that this legislation will cause harm to vulnerable youth, even by the very act of proposing it. It says to them they are not worthy, that who they are is not valid, that there is something wrong with them for the very way they experience who they are in the world. And I have to say, I strongly agree with Karen on this point. I firmly reject the notion and want our LGBTQ youth to know they are not alone, their feelings are valid, and they deserve to receive the health care they need. And I, and all of us, will continue to fight for them because you do belong and you are loved. Their child also wrote me a message. I've known this child for many, many, many years. It's my youngest daughter's one of her best friends. My name is Ridley. and I'm non-binary. When I was 16 years old, I underwent gender-affirming top surgery. Before I had my surgery, I couldn't look at myself without getting angry or having to hold back tears. Every single time I passed a mirror or saw my reflection in classroom windows, I was immediately overcome with emotion. I wanted to curl up in a ball and hide in my room. I spent many nights crying and trying to convince myself that I was okay with the way I looked, but it didn't work. Some may say it's unnatural to permanently alter my body, but I say it's unnatural to drive kids to stop eating during the most important developmental years of their lives because they think it might give them the flat-chested look they crave. I no longer cry myself to sleep or lose focus in class worrying about how big my breasts are and that I don't look enough like a boy. My gender-affirming care saved me from body dysmorphia, disordered eating, and depression. It saved my life. Again, the gender-affirming surgery that Ridley received because their parents listened to them and went to doctors saved their life. I cannot imagine a future without Ridley. They are an amazing young person, strong and brave and full of fight. I want you to remember Ridley when you go to press that button this afternoon.